Stadium on the campus of Northern Illinois University for our 4A state championship matchup. The Rochester Rockets and the Morris Redskins will try and crown themselves as champions before this night is over. And we've seen some outstanding games throughout our coverage on this Friday. Lena Winslow defeating Tuscola in a nail-biter, 21-20. And then we had another nail-biter between GCMS defeating Maroa Forsyth, 38-32. And IC Catholic Prep just polarizing Pleasant Plains, but a very, very tough-minded ball club in Pleasant Plains. They came up short 35-0. And IC Catholic clinching their second straight state championship. Cameron Smith alongside my great Saluki partner. Two SIU Salukis in the building,
Two
right?
dogs in the Husky house.
Edgy Tim of NBC Sports Chicago. And Edgy, this matchup between Rochester and Morris, intriguing on a number of different levels, but when it comes to the defense of Morris against the outstanding offense of Rochester led by Nick Baker, that has to stick out to you.
Well, that is the matchup. You have to find a way to slow down Nick Baker. I don't know. Has anyone really at all?
No, not at all.
They haven't. And trust me, this is Morris. They can play defense. They know what they're doing a little bit. Great traditional power, but it's not just Nick Baker, Cam. It's the pace of this offense. It is fast-paced. They really get after it.
All right, let's send it upstairs to our broadcast crew and Dave Bernhardt and Chris Hyland. Gentlemen.
Hi, well, thank you very much, Cameron. Glad to have you with us here. Teams that have state title trophies. How about Rochester, defending state champs? They've won this championship 6 of the last 7 years. Morris, this is the 11th time the Redskins have been in this game. They have won the state title 3 times. So all that said, Chris, and much like Edgy and Cameron were just talking about, this is kind of like a new school, old school thing.
Two very contrasting styles. No matter who's in jerseys on either sideline, we know what each team's going to do. Rochester wants to run and gun, snap it about every 10 seconds. Morris, they want to ground and pound and really beat you up front.
And the 2 players we feature are going to do that for their teams. First of all, Nick Baker, I don't know what more you can say about this young man.
Well, we're going to talk about him a lot tonight, and he just jumps out at you on the film. I've not seen a high school quarterback put up these kind of numbers in a long time. 52 touchdowns to only 2 interceptions this year.
And for Morris, if they're going to ground and pound, they will do it with Cameron Dransfeld.
He's a big back. I mean, he's just an imposing person in the backfield. 6 foot 180. The senior can really beat you up between the tackles.
Well, as we said, these 2 teams have 9 state championship trophies between them, but none of them say 2017. There's your 4A state title trophy. We've got the championship game in 4A coming up next. 17 IHSA football state finals are brought to you by Country Financial. Take simple steps today at countryfinancial.com/simple steps. And by Biaggi's, where carry-out and curbside pickup make it easy to enjoy the great taste of Biaggi's at home. Visit Biaggi's online at biaggi's.com.
The stage is set for this 4A state championship between Rochester and Morris, and this is going to be an outstanding matchup. Let's talk about the Rochester Rockets, Tim. And
very simple. Attack, attack, attack. Throw everything you've got at Morris. See what sticks and roll with it.
And Morris, that big offensive line, that running game has to be effective tonight.
Without getting caught, literally take the air out of the football. Long drives, extended drives, but you have to finish with points.
All right. 2 teams are ready to try and get themselves into championship position after 4 quarters tonight. We'll be back with more.
There is always that extra drama in the final championship game of the day, and tonight is no exception. Rochester and Morris. This is the road for Rochester this season. You see the dominating victories. That's what they've done all season long. 31-14 win over Highland in the semis. Played it on a very windy day. And for Morris, 3 of their 4 were blowouts as well. It was a tight ball game against Rochelle, but then Raby last week in the semifinals, the Redskins came away victorious. 7-2 record for Morris, 13-0 for Rochester, and we are set to get things started here tonight. Morris won the toss. They chose to defer to the second half, so that means the Rockets will get their hands on the ball first. It will be Austin Hatcher that will tee this ball up. The wind that we had experienced earlier in the day has died down significantly. It does not figure to be much of a factor here this evening. Back deep is Cade Eddington. for the Rockets, and we're underway in your 4A championship ball game. And Etiken will get a chance to return from inside the 5. And he will get himself across the 30-yard line. Rochester, winners of 6 of the last 7 4A state championships. They had a run in 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, missed in 15, and then last year the championship win 38-14 over Johnsburg. And Nick Baker, such a huge part of that ball game. You see his season's numbers, and that is absolutely correct. 52 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions. Nick Baker in a championship game last year passed for 334 yards and 4 touchdowns. Those numbers you saw there earlier, that's why Derek Leonard said it's the best quarterback season he has ever seen. And he'll come out throwing and get great protection. But he'll be dropped. Great secondary coverage by Morris. Cody Baldridge, smallest man on the defensive front, going against this offense. Talked about Baker, Nick Capriati, a 3-headed monster, the running back position. Eddington and Jaden Reed, 34 touchdown receptions between them. Keep an eye on Sean Brewer, outstanding 2-way player. A sack and a loss of 2 on our first play tonight. Capriati shuts a tackler at the line and across the 40-yard line. Defensively for Morris, we saw Cody Baldridge just moments ago, 5'7", 185. Peyton Voidek in the secondary, though. He's a 2-way player, and the very active linebackers in Dransfeld, Brady, and Laurie. And they will be tested tonight. Get a good look at Avery Hoffman, the interior of that line for Morris. Baker on first down. He can run it. And that should be a first down. Right there at the yard marker. Go defense! Rochester Rockets right there near Springfield in Sangamon County, 774 enrollment. They play in a Central State 8 conference. They were picked to finish 3rd in that league this year behind Sacred Heart Griffin and Springfield. They ran the table. As Derek Leonard said, our conference is so tough. We have won more state championships than we have won conference championships. Baker, plenty of time, lets it fly. Just a bit overthrown. He was looking for one of his favorite receivers and one of his best buddies, Jaden Reed.
Nick Baker's not afraid to take shots. He's going to go deep for the Rockets early on in this game and try and get Morris on their heels early. As you see here, he's staring down Reed the entire time. That ball wobbles a bit out of his hand, and it's just too far for Reed to bring it in.
Peyton Voidek was on the coverage.
The coverage has been great so far for Morris here in this game.
On the ground once again to Capriati, to the outside. Good blocking and another first down. This is one of the parts of the game for Rochester with all the flashy stats that Nick Baker has. The running game is so underrated and underappreciated by so many fans across the state.
I mean, look at those numbers by Nick Capriati. That's a great senior season for a running back. I mean, averaging some serious numbers per carry. All he's got to do is get north and south.
Quickly up, and a little bobble on that allows the defense to close the gap. In there on the stop, or 52, is Avery Hoffman. He's had some injuries this year, missed one of the games for Morris. 5'10", 230-pound senior, 3-year starter on that defensive front. This was a Morris team that lost 2 of their last 3 regular season games when they were really hit hard by injuries to key players. Baker under center. Riley Lewis, short side of the field. He'll be run down from behind. Caden Laurie, the linebackers for Morris, chases him down.
You're going to see Capriati motion into the backfield, and then they actually bring him around the formation, and it's almost like a reverse there, a pitch reverse to Riley Lewis, who Coach talked about a lot in his press conference earlier this week. Says he's been really impressed with him so far this year.
Capriati picking his holes to the 10, to the 5, touchdown. Nick Capriati, 27-yard touchdown run, and the Rockets are on the board first.
Who would have thought in their first drive of the game that the star would be Nick Capriati, the running back, not Nick Baker, doing the work for the Rockets. I mean, you got to give a lot of credit to the left side of the line. You see they pull both their right guard and their right tackle, and Capriotti cuts it up at the right time and takes it into the end zone. The Rockets are on the board first, but it's the ground game that does most of the work.
3 carries, 52 yards for Capriotti on that drive. Clay Allowell, just like that. It is a 7-0 game. We have played just a little over 2 minutes. Nick Capriotti, does he get touched? Not there, not there, and now the race is won. And a 7-0 lead for Rochester. Nick Capriotti with his 9th touchdown run of the year. He'll go play some defense here in just a bit. In fact, he was a running back his entire career until last year when he played exclusively on the defensive side of the ball, and he admits his #1 position is inside linebacker, but the folks in Rochester kind of like what they saw, the 52 yards and 3 carries and a score for Nick Capriotti.
Pretty good start to the night for the senior, huh?
We've seen some seniors have some big games here today. Now it'll be up to Morris, their offensive line. We can tell you more about those once they get the ball, but it's probably the biggest offensive line in the state. Back deep is Alex Cameron, standing just outside the 10-yard line. These balls hit pretty well inside the 10, and Cameron will bring it out. So Morris will take the field very quickly, chasing a 7-0 deficit. Quarterback is Mitch Mayberry. Now, Mayberry was one of those players that was injured during that little stretch there where Morris struggled at the end of the year. He is not going to throw the ball a lot. He is an efficient thrower. You see the numbers right there. He gets the job done, but it will be the ground game that will determine how Morris will handle this ball game, especially early. Play number 1 on the ground. The offensive unit for Morris. Let's talk about that offensive line first. Okay, Noah McCorkle, he is the smallest on that line, 6'3", 233 pounds. The rest go like this: 285, 282, 307, and 298. The receivers, big targets if Mayberry wants to throw. Peyton Voidick, Tyler Spezio, Kyle Little. They go 6'2", 6'5", 6'4". So big time size for Morris. This is Dransfeld. Cameron Dransfeld's able to stumble forward for an extra yard or 2. Defensively for Rochester, an underappreciated unit as well. Once again, Sean Brewer going both ways. Good size with Brewer, 245, and Clay Johnson at 290. Skylar Caruso in the secondary. He had 2 interceptions in the title game last year. Morris needs a couple of yards for a first down. They will have it.
Morris right away not messing around, showing exactly who they want to be in this game with a 3-back set. Each of the first 3 plays, I don't even think we've seen a wide receiver split out yet. We've seen nothing but tight formations, 2 tight ends, 3 running backs, and you see there a little bit of misdirection, fake to the fullback, and then you give it to Dransfeld, who just powers forward to the 40 for a first down.
It's Dransfeld, Chet, and Dryfout in the backfield. Also joined by a big man. Here comes Dransfeld once again. Also in the backfield for Morris, it is Tyler Petty, 250-pounder. Here's Morris, Grundy County, not too far of a drive here to get to DeKalb. Way out of the Northern Illinois Big 12. Last year, Morris advanced to the semifinals. That was in Class 5A. They lost to the eventual champion Peoria, 43-35. So Morris drops down to 4A this year.
And that was a good team last year, because I know that Peoria High was extremely talented. And so for them to play Peoria within a score, I mean, is just impressive.
Well, that was a high-flying offense as well, much like Rochester. I mean, a different style, but still put a lot of points on the board. Not much room up the middle. That time the carry went to Tyler Petty. He is the 5'8", 250-pounder.
The stop was by Mikey McNicholas. These linebackers are key. Capriati, who we've talked about so far on offense, and then also Mikey McNicholas. He's a force to be reckoned with. He played really well last year in the state title game and comes up with a big stop there on second down. Coach Leonard talked a lot about him earlier this week as well and just said what a difference he makes for this Rochester Rockets defense.
And now the field is spread.
First time we've seen this tonight.
Mayberry hangs in there, finds his man. He'll get it to Tyler Spezio, one of the big targets, 6'5", 210-pound senior.
Nice job by Spezio to find the gap in the defense, and Mayberry's able to show off that above-average arm. I mean, he can really make a lot of great throws, does a nice job of rolling out to avoid the pressure, and sticks his foot in the ground before he makes the throw. That's a key that some high school quarterbacks don't understand. I mean, he just does a nice job of putting it right on the money there on the run.
He needed 8 yards. He got 13 to Spezio. The ball now in Rochester territory. Back on the ground. Dransfeld. Boy, he thought he had a hole there, and it was closed up quickly that time. Stephen McCree, a transfer from Chatham Glenwood High School, senior linebacker, slammed it shut. You know, we should tell you early, if you recognize the name Dransfeld and Spezio, that means you're a Major League Baseball fan. Because Cameron Dransfeld's father, Kelly Dransfeld, former White Sox and Rangers shortstop for Spezio, his dad was Scott Spezio, has a couple of World Series rings, played for the A's, Angels, and Cardinals. His grandpa was Ed Spezio. So rich baseball tradition in the Dransfeld and Spezio families, and now here on the football field. Dransfeld breaks free. Cameron Dransfeld against Raby in the semifinal, a 200-yard game with 5 touchdowns.
Nice job by those big offensive linemen moving bodies, and Dransfeld just sticks his nose right in there. Looks like there's barely a hole to run through, but Dransfeld finds a few yards. This is a big play for both teams early on in this game. If you're Rochester, you've got to get off the field because this Morris team will start to wear you down with their size. And if you are Morris, you need to convert this third down, try and stay on the field and continue this scoring drive.
We get the whistles, and the timeout is called. When we come back, we'll have the 9th play of the drive as Morris looks for the first down, trailing by 7. Alan Thorson, the head coach for Morris, in his 8th season, 62 wins against 29 losses. 4th time he has coached in a title game, once as an assistant in 2005. That was his first year at Morris. And head coach, 2012. And there's Derek Leonard right there in the middle, kind of hiding because it is defensive time. He is the head coach, and what an amazing career. He has had 6 state championships. They've all come in the last 7 years. Looking for 2 yards here on third down. Dransfeld back to the line of scrimmage, and that is about it. So now an interesting decision with the ball here at the 37-yard line.
That was the same play they ran on third down earlier in the drive. And Stephen McCree steps up and makes another big play. You see Rochester crowding the line of scrimmage, and McCree sheds a tackle and then is able to take down Dransfeld in the backfield. It looks like Morris is going for it.
That big offensive line will be in charge of getting about 1.5 yards. I don't think they did. Alex Baylor wrapped his arms around the ball carrier, and yes, just the nose of the ball. You can see the marker across the way, and that nose was just across. And you give it to your 255-pound fullback, Tyler Petty. That's a load.
All you need is just a couple of yards, and Petty puts his head down and runs behind that big left side of the offensive line. There was a bit of a discussion between the officials, but we're back to play now. It's 1st and 10, Morris.
So their drive continues. Dransfeld will get 4 on first down. Well, we're already down to 3:40 to play here in the first quarter. You saw Rochester just come right down the field and do what they do. And now Morris doing what they do.
Yeah, there's nothing sexy about what Morris does. It's not like Rochester. I mean, they're just going to get 4 yards in a cloud of dust and be happy to move on to second down. And I love the way Dransfeld runs. He runs with both hands over the football, lowers his pad level, and goes straight north and south. That's what you need behind this big offensive line.
Mayberry, second pass of the night. Nice snag by Spezio. He's caught them both. And he will go down. Forward progress will give him the first down inside the 25-yard line. Spezio is one of the biggest turnaround stories this year for Morris. Last year, he was just kind of figuring out the game of football, and boy, he has just come on and come on, come on. He doubles as a part-time defensive end as well, but he made some big touchdown catches in the end zone in the quarterfinal game.
He's really blossomed as a wide receiver and the top target for this Morris offense, and you're able to make those easy throws, that nice pitch and catch on second down when you're running the ball so well. It kind of takes the pressure off that secondary. You're going to see Spezio at the bottom of your screen here, matched up.
Big hole up the middle. The offensive line opens it up. And a flag down in the backfield for Morris. And here will be our call. Morris fans do not like it. Our officials tonight, the referee is Bill Orris. Linesman Donald Taylor, Kevin Warner, the umpire.
Holding, number 58 on the offense, 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
Bill Orris is joined by Sal Vasta and Craig Ochoa. So the holding call up the middle will push Morris back, and the hold right there, number 58 for Morris. That is center Nolan Feeney. This is the 13th play of the drive. The first 12 plays, 10 run, 2 pass. There's the third pass. And once again, Spezio will make the catch.
That's going to be an interesting matchup to watch all night. It's Spezio, who's the 6'5" senior, matched up against Riley Lewis, the 5'8" junior defensive back for Rochester.
Okay, and that's a similar matchup that Lewis had in the semifinal, going up against 6'4" receiver for Highland, and Lewis actually got the better of that battle.
Coach Leonard couldn't talk enough about how well he thought Lewis played in that semifinal game. As you see Spezio go to the numbers on the bottom of your screen, and Lewis matched up against him there. He's got plenty of room to work one-on-one.
Stead staying on the ground. Hit and driven down. Once again, number 75, Alex Baylor, 6'2", 20-pounder in the middle of that line. There's Baylor, who's been on a couple of hard stops.
What a play by the senior. As Rochester's playing kind of a 3-4, he's there at nose guard, matched up against Feeney. He's the one that drew that holding call that put Morris so far behind the chains. And now if you're Morris, you have to open up the playbook a little bit. We've seen that they've had success throwing the ball so far tonight, so not unusual for them to get into this situation and try and go to the air.
Pump fake, deep, in traffic, and out of room. That was the 15th play of this drive. The intended receiver was Peyton Boydick. Fourth down and 13. That penalty really hurting. It may have opened a hole earlier for Dransfeld.
Great coverage by the Rockets on that play. Morris tried to run a double move. Mayberry pumps once and then looks for Boydek in the end zone. Can't find him, but they're in a little bit of no man's land here. Maybe a little bit too far for a field goal, but you can't punt, so Morris is going to try and go for it here on 4th and long.
Mayberry's first incompletion. He hit on his first 3 passes. He's going to go looking for 6, looking for Spezio, and Spezio will make the catch at the 1-yard line. There's the matchup once again.
That's just a jump ball that's as good as a punt on 4th and long. I mean, you throw it up to the big man, see if he can come down with it. If he doesn't, it's an incomplete pass.
Even if it's picked off, it's Rochester ball at the 1, but you just put some faith in the senior. 6'5", go up and get it, and he sure does there.
Tyler Spezio, his 4th catch on this drive, and his team has it 1st and goal. Transfell easily into the end zone. Touchdown, Morris. Cameron Dransfeld with the 1-yard touchdown run, set up by this 4th down catch.
And Riley Lewis is in great position. The ball's a little bit underthrown, and Spezio does a nice job with the swim move to get underneath the defender and come back to the football. He's down at the 1-yard line, and Dransfeld finishes it off with a touchdown run. We've got a ball game already at 7-all here late in the 1st quarter. I love it when they make us look smart on the field, because we talked about 2 contrasting styles, and man, were those 2 different drives by those 2 teams in the 1st quarter.
How about this for Morris? 18 plays, 9 minutes and 4 seconds off the clock. Each team doing exactly what they need to do to win a 4A championship game. Cameron Dransfeld will pick up his 21st rushing touchdown of the year. He goes behind that big offensive line. The extra point good, 7-7. And now it's Rochester's turn with 27 seconds left. Alan Thorson has to be absolutely thrilled. 2 4th down conversions on that drive. The big one to Spezio.
And we talked a little bit about it in 3A when Pleasant Plains was playing IC Catholic so close. Sometimes your best defense can be your offense. Let them chew up some clock and keep that Rochester offense on the sideline. They did it there on that drive. They'll hope to continue that in this game.
Cade Eddington deep once again. This will float to him to the 7. Rochester be going against the wind. Slight breeze here. It's actually turned a little bit as the day has gone on. Nick Capriati with the big runs. 50-plus yards rushing on the first drive, setting up the touchdown score. His own 27-yard run for a touchdown.
And he's not the only running back that we're going to see tonight. We're going to see 3 of them, kind of a stable of running backs back there for the Rockets. He's not in on this play, and it's going to be Nick Baker actually calling his own number.
Baker will be upended for a loss. Yeah, we will see David Yogerst. He's a sophomore. And they truly rotate pretty much each series with the 3 running backs. And Derek Leonard says, you know, they pretty much tell them, you're going to get 6 carries. Make the most of them. Well, a first quarter that went according to book. A quick drive and a score. Less than 2.5 minutes for Rochester. A 9-minute drive for a score. Tied at 7 after 1 in your 4A title game, Indy County. We take you back 1 year ago, and that was down at Memorial Stadium and University of Illinois, and it was Rochester in the state title game once again. They picked up the state championship with a 38-14 win over Johnsburg, doing what they do here, moving the ball around the field, and what they did during the first drive. Rochester's 6 state championships. They've all come in the last 7 years. They won 5 straight in one stretch from 2010 to 2014, and last year it was over Johnsburg to claim the state title. We're glad you're with us here at Northern Illinois University. Derek Leonard has been a frequent visitor to here since the finals have moved here in odd number years. And a quick flag before we even get a snap here to start the second quarter. Dave Bernhardt along with Chris Highland with you, and for that drive for Morris, it was Mitch Mayberry, very efficient, 4 out of 5, and those 4 passes went to Tyler Spezio, 3 of them for first downs.
He's the favorite target. He is going to be suspect number one if you are the Rochester defense for the rest of the game.
Little play action standing in the pocket. Nearly picked off. Right there for the possible interception was Blake Bryman. And that would have been only the third interception of the season thrown by Nick Baker.
Nick Baker had his eyes locked on his target a little bit too long. You see he never takes his eyes off his target, and a nice job there to be able to read his eyes. Bryman just jumps in front of that pass to knock it down.
Riley Lewis is the intended receiver. Baker on the move. A little bit of room, gets a block. Nick Baker takes 5 Redskins to bring him down. Don't be fooled just by those nearly 3,700 yards passing. Baker's also rushed for almost 450. He gets 21 on that scramble.
That was almost the second or third coverage sack of the game for Morris. And what I mean by coverage sack is Baker has all the time in the world to throw, but he can't find anybody downfield, and now they've got a little bit of a broken gate right here for Rochester.
Enjoy what this looks like.
Well, don't enjoy it for long because they're going back to the traditional look now.
Take the handoff to Yogerst. Here to the near side, that ball just kind of died on its way out, looking for Lewis. Riley Lewis going both ways. He's caught 38 passes this year for 576 yards and 8 touchdowns.
This Rochester team this year, not as athletic, not as fast on the outside as they were last year. Coach Leonard said that last year that was probably one of the most athletic teams he's ever had. But this team has reached their ceiling, he says. They're playing so well right now as a group.
Baker with nearly another interception. This time it was Dransfeld, and Nick Baker has completed only 1 pass in his first 5 attempts, coming in with a 74% completion percentage.
I mean, this Morris defense is all over these wideouts for Rochester. That ball is in and out of the hands of Dransfeld. He could have had his second touchdown of the game, 1 on offense, 1 on defense there, because there's nobody in front of him. He's going to the house with that one if he can bring it in.
Baker felt the pressure from the backside by Caden Laurie. And again, on the run and off the fingertips of Eddington. Well, how about the secondary play here early for Morris? And that time it was Peyton Bodick on the coverage.
And you can see already the frustration from Nick Baker as he has not been able to get anything going. This is only the second time that he's been able to touch the ball because of that long drive by Morris. Rochester scored in the first 2 minutes, and then they didn't see the ball again until about 40 seconds left in the first quarter.
This will be our first punt of the game. A nice little spiral, nobody deep, and this will tumble into the end zone. We'll bring it back out to the 20-yard line. The Illinois Treasury. Do you have unclaimed property? Well, check today at IllinoisTreasurer.gov. The Illinois Treasurer's Office safeguards unclaimed property such as life insurance proceeds, missing paychecks, and forgotten bank deposits. There is $2 billion in unclaimed property. Check if your name is among the thousands who have unclaimed property at IllinoisTreasurer.gov. That's www.IllinoisTreasurer.gov. Well, we've had 3 possessions in this game. Rochester scored quickly on their first. Morris came back, drove, and then it was Rochester that was stymied. Mitch Mayberry looking to build on that 4 of 5 passing. And play held up, and Morris will take a timeout with 10:55 to play here in the first half. 7-7, your 4A title game. Morris and Rochester, it's a good one. Great to have you with us here on NBC Sports Chicago. And a reminder that Saturday right here on NBC Sports Chicago, the Blackhawks continue their Florida swing with a contest with the Florida Panthers. Coverage starts at 5:30 with Blackhawks pregame live or stream live on the NBC Sports app. There's a Blackhawks fan for you. think some folks dressed a little bit warmer tonight than they may have had to. It's been such a pleasant day here in DeKalb. Temperatures right now hovering in the upper 40s, low 50s. Weather certainly has not impacted play here in this 4A game. Dransfield busts through in a hurry. Now to the outside. Hayden Dransfield. He'll wait for a block. He'll get one. He'll be inside the 40-yard line. And just like that, a burst from the 20 deep into Rochester territory.
This end zone view is going to give you a great shot of the wide open hole that Dransfeld's able to run through. Not only behind that big offensive line, but let's give Tyler Petty a lot of credit. The fullback for Morris creating holes. Dransfeld gets Morris into Rochester territory quickly after an 18-play, 9 or so minute drive the first time, and now they're cooking early on here in this second drive of the game.
Play number 1 went for 42 yards on this drive. The cut back up the middle. Jetton Dreifeld. Well, we talked about the big offensive line, and then you throw in a 250-pound fullback. And you get some linebackers in there doing a little bit of extra blocking for you on the offensive side. This is a big team coming at you.
And those aren't bad numbers for your number 2 running back on the season. About 450 yards on the year, 9 touchdowns.
Morris averaging 222 yards on the ground. They only throw for about 79 in the air, but Mayberry has been effective tonight. Staying on the ground. Again, quickly through the holes, Dreifeld, and he just knew somebody got him on the shoe top, or else he had some room in front of him. Cade Eddington, again, another player going both ways. A lot of two-way players here in this 4A game. We see as the classes increase, 1, 2, 3, 4, the number of two-way players decline, but this is a kind of an exceedingly large number.
It's because there's so much talent on these two teams. You know, in the first 11 guys, they're able to play multiple positions on both sides of the ball.
Morris 2 of 4 on third downs. They're facing one here. Dransfeld able to keep his feet. He had his foot taken out from underneath him, but he will get enough for another first down.
These running backs are so well coached. I mean, you just get north and south behind this offensive line. You put 2 hands on the football after contact. These guys know exactly what to do. They're going to let those big 5 up front do most of the work. They're going to try and run through maybe 1 or 2 tackles and then hang on to that ball. This is a team that prides themselves on taking care of the football and chewing clock like they've been able to do so far in this 4A state championship. 7th first down of the game for the Redskins. Dransfeld again. He will carry the ball 20-plus times if needed. A typical game for him, 150 yards. That's his 13th carry already, and we still have 8.5 minutes to play here in the first half. That's a pretty good night for anybody, but I mean, you're talking through a quarter and a half, already 76 yards and a touchdown.
On 2nd down and 6. Mayberry pumps, looking, end zone, looking for Spezio, and this one's picked off in the end zone. And it's Riley Lewis. He won the Spezio-Lewis battle on this one.
This is going to be so much fun to watch the entire game. So Spezio won, Lewis won. We're tied up now in this matchup. Spezio gets the big 4th down conversion on Morris's first drive of the game, down to the one that sets up a touchdown. And Riley Lewis, the 5'8" junior, steps up and answers the call this time. They do another double move, and Riley Lewis does not bite. Look at him high point that ball. I mean, that is such great technique by the junior to go up and get that one.
Spezio thought he had that till Lewis closed the gap. And now Rochester Their defense denying Morris of a go-ahead score. The Rockets to take over, and this time it will be Zach Gleason. So we have seen the 3 running backs here in the first 3 possessions for Rochester. First of all was Nick Capriati. David Yoger's got a carry or 2. Now Zach Gleason is in there. Gleason a bigger back, and Baker's going down. First man in for Morris, Kyle Little. Number 87, 6'4", 259-pounder. There's Sam Brady also helping out. Caden Laurie was there. A loss of 5 on the sack.
That's one way to slow this Rochester offense down. Make them one-dimensional by taking away the running game. This Rockets offense has been completely different with the other 2 running backs in and not Nick Capriati in there.
Baker misfiring once again. This time he was looking for Jaden Reed. Baker just 1 of 7, and again coming in completing 74% of his passes. Now Nick Baker stands 5 feet 9 inches tall, and despite the raves of Derek Leonard and opposing coaches who have said he's as good a quarterback as I've ever seen at a high school level, according to various coaches, he is struggling here tonight. Once again, a 3 and out. That'll be a pretty good field position there for Morris to start with just under 7 minutes to play in the first half in a tie game. And the Morris fans appreciate their defensive effort. Well, here was that first battle won by Tyler Spezio over Riley Lewis. But in the other end zone, Lewis gets his 3rd pick in the last 2 games. Your defending state champs, the Rochester Rockets, and the Morris Redskins all locked up in a 7-7 tie. Well, the quarterbacks have kind of had opposite results, but for Mitch Mayberry, his receivers going up against the defensive backs for Rochester, big advantage there.
Hey, right, and like I said, this is kind of 1-to-1 right now. Spezio has 1 big catch, and Lewis has 1 big interception. This is going to be fun to watch the rest of the way.
Keeping an eye on time of possession because it is such a crucial strategical aspect of this game. Morris right now, 12 minutes and 1 second. Rochester, 5 minutes and 4 seconds. Yeah, all kinds of problems.
A lot of movement. The last thing I'll say about that wide receiver versus defensive backs matchup, I'll take a guy who's 5'5", who can high point a ball like Lewis did on that interception. As we see, it's going to be a false start.
Foul, snap infraction, number 58 on the offense. 5-yard penalty, replay first down.
If you got a nose for the football, I don't care how big you are, how small you are. If you can go up and get it, I'll take you.
There's Tyler Spezio. All 6 feet 5 inches of him. And now his team 5 yards back, 1st and 15. Each team scoring on their opening possession of this game. Dransfield's able to squirt through and stumble across midfield. And again, he had Spezio downfield blocking for him. If he could have just kept those feet underneath him, but nevertheless, Spezio gets 11 of those yards back in a hurry.
A great gain on 1st down and long. It allows Morris to use the entire playbook here on 2nd down, as it's more 2nd and manageable than, let's say, 2nd and 10, even 2nd and 15 had they not gained anything. Dransfeld puts him in a good position here on 2nd down, right around midfield.
He already has 88 yards rushing following that 11-yard pickup. He'll get a little bit of a breather here because big fullback Tyler Petty just muscles his way forward for a 1st down.
He's not just going to get the ball in short yardage situations. They love the way he moves at 250 pounds. They'll give him the ball on 1st or 2nd down, maybe even outside the tackles a couple times tonight, because they say that he moves very well for 250 pounds, and he's shown it already tonight.
Ball is just inside the 45-yard line. Petty back there with Dransfeld and Mayberry. He leads the way for Dransfeld through the hole. If you go back to the state championship in 2011, for Rochester. They played Richmond Burton, a team similar to Morris in terms of size and wanting to pound the ball. Rochester won that game 42-39. Then in 2013, another similar team to Morris, actually out of the same conference as the Redskins, Geneseo. They fell to Rochester 16-8. Other years, it's been big blowouts. Oh, after the stumble, Mikey McNicholas comes in and makes sure Cam Dransfeld goes nowhere.
You can't give Mikey McNicholas any leeway coming off the backside, and as soon as Dransfeld stumbles, Mikey McNicholas's eyes light up and he goes after him. You're going to see him at the very top of your screen as we take a look at the replay. Come off the edge, they leave him unblocked, thinking he can't get all the way there from the backside. But man, he's got a lot of speed, and as soon as Dransfeld stumbles, he's all over him for the tackle for loss.
That's his 13th TFL this season after the loss of 5. Now 3rd and 12. Again a quick whistle, and again Morris wants a timeout. They did not like the way it looked. They'll have one left. We have 4:27 here to play in the first half. And of course, coming up at halftime, Cameron Smith along with Edgy Tim will have highlights and stats for you, and they'll pick apart this game. And much like last game that saw Pleasant Plains trailing eventual state champion IC Catholic at the half 6-0, I think Cameron and Edgy are going to have a little bit to talk about in this one.
Low scoring, but man, a lot of action so far, and gone a lot like what we thought it would. You know, two teams that were very contrasting in styles. Morris has chewed up most of this clock, dominating time of possession and dominating the line of scrimmage. But I am a little bit shocked that it's taken Rochester, they really haven't even gotten going. I won't even say it's taken them so long to get going. Rochester has really not gotten anything going offensively, except for Nick Capriotti on the first drive. It's been all on the ground that Rochester has gotten their work done.
In fact, we have no passing first downs for Rochester here in the first half. Morris has 3 of their 8 first downs in the air. But with 4:27 left, that's a lifetime for Rochester. They can get the ball back here on 3rd down. Morris needing 12 yards. And it will be 4th and 12. Riley Lewis stands 5'8". He weighs only 150 pounds. He's a junior. He'll be back next year. You think of all the extra practices and games that Rochester's played over the last 7 years, advancing deep into the playoffs. Here's the first punt for Morris. Wind has dropped to about 12 miles per hour. Not much of a factor here. Looking for a good hop. And I think Morris fans will be happy with that. Austin Hatcher puts that ball inside the 15-yard line. So Rochester will take over. 4:12 to play here in the first half.
So that rotating stable of running backs for Rochester has gone through the rotation once. Nick Capriotti's back out there. I wonder if they see more success with him on this drive, if Derek Leonard will stay with him more than the other 2 running backs, and maybe see if the ground game can help the passing game get going. But on first down, nothing doing there.
Capriotti had 52 yards on that opening drive, a drive that ended up in his 27-yard touchdown run, and he didn't get much there, and now he'll split out. This field is spread for Baker, who has struggled tonight. Quickly, the completion to Capriotti. How about that strength and balance to be that low to the ground and still be able to drive forward the way he did?
He's a great wrestler. He's got a strong lower half. He's a great frame. He's a good kid who has really played well for Rochester. Really been the glue of this offense so far for them tonight.
He picks up the first down. Plenty of time here for the Rockets. Quickly, Lewis dodges 1, slips through 2. Another first down.
Those are the kinds of short, quick throws that Nick Baker needs to really get into this ball game. You're going to see the fake to Capriati and then the screen. Nice blocking downfield, but Lewis does most of this himself, slipping 3 different tackles before 2 or 3 Morris defenders bring him down. They're spread out wide again. Baker alone in the backfield.
15 yards on that last completion. Looking for more, and there's another first down. 3 straight passes, 3 straight first downs. Ball in Moore's territory.
If you're Morris, you got to do something here. You got to get some pressure. You got to tighten up the man coverage on the outside. You can't let Nick Baker get going. He wasn't going to stay down for long. You weren't going to get this kind of performance, 1 for 7, 1 for 8 from Nick Baker all night. He was going to get going at some point. You just hope it's sooner rather than later if you're a Rockets fan.
The pace and rhythm belong to Rochester. Wide open, Eddington. He'll go in, and Rochester back on top, and it didn't take them long. 49-yard touchdown pass.
Rochester has big play capability written all over him, and that time Nick Baker has plenty of options. As you see, he's got 3 options on the left side of the field. He picks the one that's wide open, as that's just a simple seam route by Eddington right up the hash, and he waltzes into the end zone. Rochester up a score.
Eddington's 19th touchdown reception of the year. Nick Baker just threw his 53rd touchdown pass, and Nick Baker, who was 1 of 7 prior to this drive, completed all 4 passes on this possession, leading to the score.
We'll take one more look. It's almost a fake bubble screen, and then Eddington's 1 of 3 options that Baker has, including an outlet in the flat. You see his eyes try and check that safety in the middle of the field. He sees that safety vacate towards the far hash, and he hits Eddington, and he knows it right away. As soon as Eddington gets his hands on that ball, he knows, yeah. We're rolling now, boys. Rochester up 14-7 here late in the second quarter.
Isn't that something, how it just all changed on that possession? All of a sudden the rhythm,
just like
the
that.
pace.
Yeah, I mean, and it doesn't take long. It doesn't take much to get this team going. And you better slow them down in a hurry if you're Morris, because, I mean, if you let them roll, this is a team that can put up some serious points. You look at their season schedule, and I mean, they haven't been held to under 30 points all year.
Last week, 31 points against Highland, and that came on an extremely windy day. You remember the weather last Saturday all across the state. Well, this is pretty important here for Morris right now. Rochester has 2 more timeouts remaining, and you see it only took them 1 minute and 17 seconds to go 87 yards. If they can get that ball back, they know they can score in a hurry, and Kate Eddington had something funny to say to his head coach, Derek Leonard. A very familiar face on the sidelines on Thanksgiving weekend. All a couple of extra points tonight. They'll send this one on its way. Back to the 1-yard line. Cameron waited on a block, and he got it. Cameron to the 30. He's near midfield. Alex Cameron brought it back from the 1-yard line. 2:47 and a timeout remaining for Morris. 46-yard return.
Great field position for Morris to start this drive. Still got plenty of time left on the clock. They do only have 1 timeout. But if you're Morris, you can't stray away from what got you here, and that is pounding the football with Cameron Dransfeld.
A little bit different matchup up at the top was Tyler Spezio. This is Cam Dransfeld. Not much of a game. We have Jaden Reed matched up, and now Reed will come out, and Lewis will be back in. A little bit of a limp coming off the field.
The officials haven't stopped the clock yet, but Morris has an offensive lineman who's limping off the field there.
Yeah, Nolan Feeney, he's the center. So a new center in the ball game for Morris. On 2nd and 10. They go right up the middle and across midfield. We're under 2 minutes to play in the half.
I'm a little bit shocked that Derek Leonard hasn't burned a timeout. And I am a little bit surprised that Morris isn't playing with a little bit more tempo here. So you do have to start to at least pick up the pace a little bit after you don't get much on first and second down. It's okay to play with a little bit of pace now that it's third down.
Throwing back, up for grabs, and just out of the hands of Chatton Dreifelt. Boy, that was a good-looking play for a long time.
You're going to see Dreifelt there kind of at the tight end position, run a wheel route on the backside. And that's actually a really nice job by Rochester and Caruso staying honest and making sure that you pick up him out on the backside of the play. But man, if he comes down with that ball, that could be a huge gain for Morris.
Punt from Hatcher. He put one inside the 15-yard line the last time. Bennington will take it to the 25. Plenty of time here for the Rockets with 1:12 to play in the half.
Took them, what, about 1:17 to score the last time, so they can move quickly here.
Last time Bennington touched the ball in offense, got a 49-yard touchdown pass. There's his numbers for Baker on the last drive compared to the first 3 drives. He's completed his last 5 passes. David Yogurt's out of the backfield.
Those are just easy pitch and catches for Baker. 5 of his last 5. Trying to go quickly here, under a minute to go.
To the near side, he finds Eddington again. He initially shook the tackle of Blake Bryman, and Bryman got him, but the ball near midfield.
And this is where the pace of the Rochester offense plays in their favor. All the time, they're already in a 2-minute offense. They come up to the ball ready to go.
Quick 18 yards on that last play. Baker wants more. Well overthrown. Closing quickly was Bryman. That stops the clock. 31 seconds left. You know, and everyone in this stadium can just sense how quickly things can strike with this Rochester team.
These are going to be a key couple of plays for Morris as they get the ball to start the second half. They want to try and keep Rochester out of the end zone, keep it a 1-score game. Just think of the difference that would make, being down 2 scores to being down 1 in the locker room.
A lot of time for Baker. He'll step up. And now Rochester used one of their timeouts. Ball is across midfield. And Rochester will have 1 timeout remaining. Already today we have had some interesting and entertaining games. In 1A, Lee win. 21-20 winners over Tuscola in a game that was a tale of 2 halves there, and then in a 2A game that featured 7 lead changes. Gibson City Melvin Sibley defeated Maroa Forsyth 38-32 in our last ball game here in Class 3A. Defending state champs did defend their state title, and that was a 35-0 win by IC Catholic over Pleasant Plains. But don't let that score fool you, because it was a 6-0 lead at halftime before the second half opened up big. And tomorrow, full day of action tomorrow. Back at it for 12 more hours of high school football from Northern Illinois University. It will all start in a 5A game as Phillips will move to 5A this year. They had been a 4A team. They would have been 3A. They started off with Dunlap, battle of unbeatens. Prairie Ridge looks to go back-to-back. The 6A championship game And then 7 and 8A games, ones that folks have been looking for. Lake Zurich and Batavia, they each have one state championship. And then the Mammoth battle in 8A. Lincoln Way East trying to keep their perfect record intact against Loyola Academy, making their third straight appearance in the state championship game. But we've got business to take care of here tonight, and so does Nick Baker. 24 seconds to play with here in the first half. Defensive effort that time. Blake Bryman, he has been picked on here the last 3 passes. He was right there. This play was open momentarily.
Yeah, Baker's got 2 options on the left side. He decides to throw the post route, looking for Lewis, but Bryman is all over him. It's a great play right there. I mean, that's exactly what you're looking for from your DB. The senior gets a paw in there and breaks it up.
Bryman with a couple of breakups now. It is 4th down. Morrison sent somebody deep momentarily. Now they bring him back up. Baker to throw it 4th down. Looking for it all. Just overthrows Jaden Reed.
That was the exact same play that Rochester just ran. They stacked those 2 wide receivers at the numbers, and Lewis, the inside wide receiver, runs the post. Reed runs the go route to the pylon. You see, he looks off that time. He looks at Reed in the middle of the field to try and look the defender off, and then he goes to Reed deep, and it's just over the outstretched arms of Reed. It would have been 6, and he knows it right there. He knows, oh, if I could just lay out for that one, but it's just a bit too far.
14 seconds now for Morris. They have 1 timeout remaining. Will they try to get into field goal range? And not going to have a chance. Rockets came hard. McNicholas drops Mayberry. And that's how our first half will come to a close. 14-7, the defending state champions on top of Morris. Rockets jumped out to a 7-0 lead in the first 2.5 minutes. And then Morris went on a 9-minute drive to tie the game at 7. And with about 3 minutes to play here in the first half, Nick Baker threw his 53rd touchdown pass of the year, 49 yards to Cade Eddington, and that's where we stand. 14-7, Rochester as they bid to go back-to-back here in Class 4A.
This has been a lot of fun so far. These teams have both played really well here in the first half.
Let's go down with Cameron Smith. He is with Derek Leonard.
All right, Coach, you guys going into the halftime with a 14-7 lead. Impressions of your team in that first half. Obviously, you guys want more consistency on the offensive end.
Yeah, no question. They did a good job keeping us from the ball. I don't know how many offensive plays we ran, but we got to get in a rhythm, you know what I mean? But they're holding the ball. They're doing a good job up front. We're missing a few guys, but, man, it's it's a state championship game. We're up 14-7, and to play like we did and to be up is big at this point.
All right, now you told us earlier in the week that if Nick Baker was on Madden, he would have a 90 rating. So give us his rating after that first half of play.
That was about a 90. You know, I think he missed a few, but other than that, he played good. Like I said, altogether, we're playing good. We're keeping them out of the end zone, but we got to get the ball back. They can't go on such long drives, and that's the big thing.
How big was that touchdown pass from Baker to Eddington to break that tie and give you guys a little momentum as we head into halftime?
Yeah, no, it was huge, you know, and to get, like you said, to break the momentum, to get the lead to go into before halftime. And, you know, against a team like this, if you can play in the lead, you're in better shape. If you're playing from behind or they're driving like they have been, keeping the ball from us, you know, it's then it gets scary.
All right, Coach, we appreciate your time. Thank you. Good luck in the second half. All right. The Rochester Rockets leading Morris 14-7 as we head into halftime. It's been a back-and-forth first half. Some great, outstanding plays on both sides of the ball. We will have more coming up at halftime, numbers and highlights-wise. Well, it was a back-and-forth matchup in that first half between Rochester and Morris. Then the Rockets up 14-7 on this 4A state championship game. Cameron Smith alongside my broadcast partner, Mr. Edgy Tim. 2 SIU Salukis in the building on the campus of Northern Illinois. How about that?
It's okay. A lot of my money went here since my kid did his undergrad here, so it kind of evens out in the end.
They'll probably kick me out when this game is done. All right, let's break this first half down. Edgy, Rochester obviously not as explosive as we've seen throughout the season, and that's a credit to that Morris defense, but the 2 touchdowns they picked up were huge, especially the last one with Nick Baker finding Cade Eddington.
It was. It's one of those games where I think everyone feels pretty good where they're at right now. I mean, even though it's 14-7, again, you watch just outstanding run here, Cam.
Yes, indeed. They were able to really ground and pound on this drive and really resulting in the 7 touchdowns. Excuse me, not 7 touchdowns, 7 points on the board for Rochester.
It's literally taking what the defense is giving you, and he's taking advantage with the run there. And then here comes the passing game.
And Nick Baker found his rhythm on this drive, and this will end in a Cade Eddington touchdown to put the Rockets up 14-7. And Eddington is wide open for this one.
And again, you can make stop after stop after stop, but this offense is going to find that open man, and it's just big play potential, which is so dangerous with this Rochester team, Cam.
Positives in that first half for Morris. Obviously, controlling the clock and time of possession was huge for them.
Offensively, you're able to move the ball, and as you talked about, time of possession, pace of play right now, it's definitely Morris's favor. Yeah. So you got to feel good. But again, it's that big play ability you've got to defend against. You have to be on your toes literally every single time Rochester has the ball.
And offensively, what do they need to do to be able to sustain long runs so they can kill more time off the clock and try and even this game up as we start the third quarter?
Again, you want to control pace, so you want the running game to continue, but you know, you've got the jump ball down the far sidelines, which have worked, but maybe switch that up a little bit. But overall, Alan Thorson, you got to feel pretty good where you're at right now.
Yes, indeed. 14-7. You're only down 1 touchdown in the first half. So we will get more into the details of that first half as we crunch down some numbers with stats. So we will be back from Husky Stadium on the campus of Northern Illinois. The Rockets up 14-7 over the Redskins from Morris High School. Well, could it be one more half of 4A state championship football? I'm not sure the way that first half went. We will see shortly. Rochester, Morris, fighting, competing for that 4A state championship. Cameron Smith alongside Edgy Tim O'Halloran, NBC Sports Chicago. And Edgy, obviously, we touched on a few key points from that first half, but let's look into the numbers and crunch those down to see why Rochester is up 14-7 at this halftime break. So, obviously, time of possession, we touched on that for Morris, and that was huge, especially on that touchdown run. 9 minutes. They ate up 9 minutes of that clock and it resulted in 7.
What we talked about in the pregame, time of possession and pace of play. This is at Morris's pace right now, which has to have Derek Leonard just a little bit concerned going into the second half. But, you know, again, you're able to throw, got a nice mix of balance, again, with the run and the pass for Rochester. No need to worry right now, but again, if you're Derek Leonard, you want an explosion play. You want to change maybe the tempo here a little bit, get it a little bit more in your favor.
All right, let's do a little role playing right now. And speaking of Derek Leonard, let's throw on that Rochester hoodie for you. All right, Coach Leonard, what do you need to do in the second half to get back-to-back 4A state champions?
Let's get a turnover
in
the second half, and let's keep hitting those explosion plays. Let's make big plays and get them back on their heels right out of the gate.
All right, take off that Rochester hoodie.
You got it.
Throw on a Morris hoodie.
Yep.
All right, you're now Alan Thorson. Coach Thorson, obviously you guys had some key moments in that first half, some bright spots, but you're down a touchdown. Offensively and defensively, what sides of the ball mean more and what you have to do to get back within this game?
Well, defensively is always going to matter more against a team like this because literally every touch counts. Offensively, I don't know how much I changed. I like what's going on right now. You're running the ball. You're mixing in enough play-action passing with Mitch Mayberry. I think you kind of stick to the script offensively, but again, be on guard, play every play defensively like it's your last because, Cam, it could be.
It could be. And if you're also Morris, you want to put more pressure on Nick Baker to try and hurry through his throws. We saw that in the first quarter as well, right?
He was able to do it. It's hard because he's so far back in that shotgun, and he's so quick with that release. You watch his release, boom, it's out of his hand in a hurry. That's a big difference, but you're right. Any pressure you can get is good pressure.
Well, great job in role playing. You have to send his audition tape to Saturday Night Live. And you got a feature in that, right, Tim?
Hey, whatever it takes, man. No problem.
We will be back from Northern Illinois University. The Rockets of Rochester up 14-7 over Morris High School. It's been a great 4A state championship half.
Two great teams making great plays here tonight in the 4A championship ball game at Husky Stadium in DeKalb. Dave Bernhardt along with Chris Highland, and it's a 14-7 lead for the defending champs here as we go down to the field and catch up with Cameron Smith.
All right, guys, standing here with Alan Thorson of the Morris Redskins. And, Coach, only down a touchdown going into halftime. How impressed were you with your ball club on both sides of the ball in that first half?
Well, I think our kids are playing great. It just comes down to capitalizing on a few, defensively we had a chance for a couple interceptions that we dropped, and you can't let those go against a good team. And the interception hurt us, but, we've seen this out of our team all year. They're a group of fighters, and they got a lot of heart, so we'll be okay in the second half.
Offensively on that side of the ball, trying to keep the balance, running and throwing the ball, but how much of a weapon is it to have Mayberry throwing it up top to your big ace in Spezio?
Oh, Mitch is a great quarterback for us. I mean, we've seen this all year. We've got other guys we can throw to. Tyler's just one of our receivers. So, I mean, we're going to have to open it up here in the second half. We can't hold back if we want to, have a shot at winning a state title.
All right, Coach, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
all right,
man.
good luck in the second half.
Thanks.
All right, let's throw it back upstairs to Dave Bernhardt and Chris Highland for the second half action.
All right, thanks, Cameron. We were talking about Tyler Spezio there. Spezio had that big catch you saw moments ago in the highlights. That came on 4th and 15, the 27-yarder. And in that drive that led to that Cameron Dransfeld touchdown run, 18 plays, 9 minutes, converted a couple of first downs on 4th down. So it was a ton of plays on that drive. If we're talking plays, I know a lot of times we overemphasize yardage. Derek Leonard, you heard him going out of the break. He doesn't like the number of plays he's run. His team has run 28 plays in the first half.
Yeah, and it took until I saw the stats for me to see that it's really not as dramatic of a difference as I thought it would be. 28 plays for Rochester, 33 for Morris, but Derek Leonard would love to run more plays. He wants his offense out there as much as he possibly can get them, but the time of possession is where Morris is really controlling this game. 16.5 minutes for Morris in time of possession has really been the story so far, and that's why they've been able to stay in this game just one score down.
Morris with 94 yards on the ground, Cameron Dransfeld with 90 of those yards, but one of the keys that we need to keep an eye on is who will come out at center for Morris when they get the ball to start here in the second half, because Nolan Feeney left with an injury late in that first half.
And Burton Hess was warming up to start the second half. Morris is going to get the ball, so we'll find out our answer very quickly. This is going to be a big drive for Morris. I mean, if they can put together a drive like they did on their scoring drive to start the second half, this is a whole new ball game. We'd be looking at about a tie ball game with only 3 or 4 minutes left in the third quarter by the time Rochester gets the ball.
Though it was interesting to hear Alan Thorson mention, I guess we somewhat forgot about those 2 dropped interceptions that could have really turned things around early.
You're right, because both of those could have been pick 6.
Yep.
I mean, there was nothing but green grass in front of those defenders for Morris.
So the Redskins had deferred. They won the coin toss. They deferred. They get an opportunity here to start the second half of play. The Redskins from Morris have won 3 state championships. The first one coming in 1980, the most recent in 2005. They have finished second 7 times. For Rochester, they have never lost a championship game in their previous 6 appearances. From the 10-yard line, this is Voidick. Voidick is going to squirt through a hole. Peyton Voidick, one man to beat, it's the kicker. And he does it. Clayton Allowell is able to get in there and trip up Peyton Voidick, who turned this field around in a hurry. 45-yard return.
So we were talking about a long extended drive for Morris and how it could have been a tie game after maybe a 7 or 8 yard drive or a 7 or 8 minute drive. We could have had a tie ball game after about 7 or 8 seconds there. Voidek avoids that one more tackler.
So Morris will start in Rochester territory. There's Mitch Mayberry. And Feeney is in at center. Let's see how mobile the 282-pounder is. This offensive line, 298 pounds, 282, 307, 285, the smallest at 233 pounds.
3 of those offensive linemen are 3-year starters.
Nolan Feeney, one of those. He's an all-stater up front. You see big old number 66, Dylan Schwartz, 285 pounds, coming right at you. Dransfield has a hole off the right side. He has a first down.
Morris picks up right where they left off in the first half, pounding the ball between the tackles with Dransfeld.
Cameron Dransfeld, as we mentioned earlier, his father, former Major League player Kelly Dransfeld. Tyler Spezio, his dad, former Major League Baseball player Scott Spezio. Good decision by Mayberry right there. Did not work out well on that snap. But he ends up making the right call.
You just live to fight another day for Mayfield. Just jump on top of the ball. Don't try and force anything. Don't make a bad play worse. 2nd and 15. They've faced 2nd and 15 already tonight, and they've done just fine. You have to wonder, though, if that injury is affecting Nolan Feeney in those snaps.
Yeah, he was limping around after that snap. He does not look comfortable out there at all. Good snap on this one. Dransfeld will get part of those 5 yards lost, and it will be 3rd and 10. Big play here in the first 3 minutes of the 3rd quarter.
You heard Coach Thorson say out of halftime that Spezio's just one of many targets that we like to try and find. Well, you're going to see who they've got a lot of confidence here on 3rd and 10.
Mayberry quick to get rid of it. And it's 4th down. Now 3 of 8 on 3rd down conversions for Morris.
And he was looking for his favorite target, Tyler Spezio. In a situation like that, you go to the man that brought you here. And Spezio has come up big, not just all season, but also tonight.
This is almost the identical position of the field on 4th down in the first half when he connected with Spezio. And Morris has converted both of their 2 4th down opportunities. They both came on that scoring drive.
Spezio split out at the bottom of your screen.
Matched up with Lewis. That's where Mayberry's going. And he has the first down. And Spezio still on his feet. 3 for 3 on 4th downs. The drive stays alive.
They just do not have an answer for Tyler Spezio. You see the running backs getting involved there, throwing some blocks to give Mayberry a little bit more time. Dransfeld picks up the blitzing linebacker, and so does Tyler Perry. And Spezio just sits down in the middle of that zone defense. He knows where the sticks are. He knows where he has to get to, and then does some damage after the catch down the sideline. And Morris has 1st and goal at the 10.
In the red zone after that 24-yard completion. Dransfeld, along with some of those line mates, able to push forward for about 3 yards.
Dransfeld will not go down easily. A hard 3 yards earned there. And you can almost see him telling the coaches he wants his number called again. He's saying, give this ball to me. I'm going to take care of this one right now.
opening drive here of the second half. Morris looking for the tie. It's second down and goal. Good job, Skylar Caruso coming in to cut the legs out from underneath Chatton Dryfout. No gain. Dryfout had some carries early. You get the sense that he may have just taken a play there, so Dransfeld could get a little bit of a breather. They bring in Caden Laurie to play fullback instead of Tyler Petty. Ninth play of the drive coming up here on 3rd and goal. To the air, to the end zone, and a bit overthrown for Spezio. It's 4th down.
The Morris sideline wants a flag. They think that the Rochester defender was draped all over Spezio and maybe got there a little bit too early. They won't get one. That's the first time they've tried to throw out of that formation. That tight formation, nobody split out. They use Spezio as a tight end and try and get him the ball off of play action. Nothing doing. And Morris makes a decision that they're going to go for it here, it looks like, on 4th and goal from the 7.
They have completed and converted all 3 of their 4th down opportunities. If they do it here, we'll be within a point. Once again, end zone, nobody home. Confusion with Boydick and Dryfout, and the Rochester defense is held inside the 10-yard line. Morris drove the field inside the 10. Rochester stood strong.
All right, welcome back to Husky Stadium, and right now you are looking at the back part of head official Bill Orris's hat. Now the initials WEO III is in honor of Bill's son, who was tragically killed in a motorcycle accident back in 2015 in Crystal Lake. Now ahead of tonight's 4A state championship game, the officiating crew that Bill is working with thought it would be a great idea for Bill to honor his son by placing his initials on the back of his hat for tonight's game. So just an outstanding gesture by the crew, and also to honor Bill's son, William Alec Orris III, who was tragically killed. So big hearts all around.
Thank you very much, Cameron. Very special story right there. Baker from the goal line. Complete to Eddington. And more. And still at his feet. And Cade Eddington. Now it's a race. Hit down hard, but not before Rochester in business at the 36-yard line of Morris. 57 yards on that completion.
The second huge play of the night by Eddington. This time he gets all of his work done after the catch. Nice screenplay. He slips the tackle there, and look at Lewis throwing a block on the sideline down the field for his teammate. He springs Eddington, and Rochester's into Morris territory.
They close the first half strong. Here come the Rockets, and Baker misfires. It's his first incompletion in about his last 7 or 8 attempts. You know, one thing about this Rochester team, there's Baker's numbers, subpar for him. He had that stretch of 1 for 7. One thing about this Rochester team, they did not commit a turnover. Their starting offense did not commit a turnover till the second round game this season. So they have not been giving the ball up. Only 5 turnovers on the season. On the ground. Big hard running from Zach Gleason. It was his turn in the rotation. He made the most of it right there.
And that's all Derek Leonard asks of these running backs, is when I give you the ball, make the most of it, hang on to it, because you're right. If you turn the ball over, somebody else is coming in for you.
On the ground again, Gleason, nice little dance through the hole. Powers his way to the 6-yard line. First and goal from there.
Morris needs a big stop. He can't go down to a team like Rochester by 2 touchdowns. Morris is not built to play from behind, and I think the coaches know that. Thorson wants to take a timeout here and talk to his defense as Rochester is knocking on the door.
Rochester in business. We'll step aside. We come back. They'll have a first and goal.
The 2017 IHSA Football State Finals are brought to you by Country Financial. Take simple steps today at countryfinancial.com/simple steps.
Dave Bernhardt along with Chris Hyland coming to you from Husky Stadium. Rochester Rockets on the move. This particular drive, they have run 4 plays. 3 of them have been good for first downs. First and goal from inside the 10. Capriati back in. They fake the handoff into the end zone. Touchdown, Jaden Reed. His 17th touchdown reception of the year. Coming from Nick Baker, who threw his 2nd tonight, 54 on the season. And now it's a 2-touchdown advantage for the Rockets.
What a throw by Nick Baker. Back shoulder throw to Reed. Not even looking, not even out of his break when he lets it go. Just have to have faith in your wide receiver that he's going to go back and get that ball. And sure enough, Reed comes down with it. And Rochester firing on all cylinders now on offense.
21-7 lead for the Rockets. And this combination of Baker to Reed, it wasn't going to happen last year because Jaden Reed did not play last year. In fact, it was Nick Baker who went to his buddy and said, hey, come on out, let's play. And then Derek Leonard said last day of school, he told Jaden Reed, hey, you know, why don't you come try play football? And Nick Baker really, the first day of practice when he had his buddy Jaden Reed out there, he saw very special skills with his hands. And it's a tough catch right there with a great throw.
Coach Leonard said that, oh, look at the dancing. Look at him, he's pumped up. Look at he gives that energy, he gives that sideline a little bit of energy there. But I mean, he's just been such a great teammate since day one. He came out for every single one of the conditioning practices during the summer and has just been such a crucial part of this offense all year long, and got some good moves too.
Well, what's this Rochester offense all about? It's about striking quickly. How about a drive of 93 yards that took 46 seconds to a 21-7 lead? This was after Morris had driven the field, takes it all the way down inside the 10-yard line, and Rochester just spins it the other direction. And an onside kick. And a recovery.
That's going to be Rochester ball. It hit a Rochester player, but he was well past the 10-yard marker. The Morris coaches aren't going to be happy about this. They're not going to get to take a look at this until after the game is over. But watch this onside kick. It's going to hit a Rochester player, but it's well past the 50-yard line. It actually hits him on about the 48. This is a great camera angle right there.
Yep.
That's a good camera angle by our crew. You see that the ball dies at about the 48-yard line. That's 12 yards. It's only got to travel 10.
It hit Zach Gleason. It was recovered by Zach Lee. And now Rochester going for the jugular here.
Yeah, the Morris coaches aren't happy. They'll have to see that one in film after the game, but I think it's the right call by the officials.
Baker had a man. And now he'll go down. Kyle Little with the sack.
Let's take a look at that onside kick one more time. You're going to see it here from the wide angle. All it's got to do is travel to the 50, and you see it hits him and dies. That's about 11 yards downfield that it hits him. Great job there to catch that by our crew, and a good call by Derek Leonard coming off of the touchdown to try and capitalize on that momentum.
Baker will get it to Caruso. Great tackle in the open field by Dransfeld.
Funny how these kinds of things work. You're on the Morris sideline or you're in the Morris stands, and you think you got jobbed a little bit on that one because it wasn't the call that you wanted. And so it gives you a little bit of extra life, and the Morris defense has responded on these first 2 plays of this drive.
3rd and long. To the sideline and through the hands of Eddington.
There's a flag thrown late on the sideline. Is it going to be a sideline warning or an unsportsmanlike?
Sideline warning on Morris.
So those Morris coaches have been talking a lot to the officials on these first 3 plays. I wasn't sure if that was going to be just a sideline warning or maybe one of the coaches crossed the line with what he said to the official. You see Coach Thorson there trying to get everything handled.
But a lot of people believe that a sideline warning is strictly where you're standing, and it's more than that. It's any kind of little chirping that may be going on.
What a response by Morris. There's a lot of character there for Morris to step up and make that big play.
Angling for the corner and just gets into the end zone. Our Country Financial game break as we take a look at what's coming up tomorrow. Undefeated teams in 5A. Dunlap making their first appearance. Phillips already has a state championship. That was in Class 4A. Then Prairie Ridge looks to go back-to-back with unbeaten seasons, but the Roadrunners from Nazareth Academy standing in their way. Great defensive matchup brewing for 7A. Lake Zurich and Batavia, and then the one a lot of folks have been waiting for, and maybe the toughest 8A bracket in years, if not ever. Loyola Academy and unbeaten Lincoln Way East. That's coming your way here on NBC Sports Chicago and NBC Sports Chicago Plus tomorrow beginning at 10 a.m. So the Redskins able to dodge that successful onside kick. Their defense stepped up, and now they will look to move down the field. Now the one thing, they have 5.5 minutes to play here in the 3rd quarter. I don't know that they can duplicate a 9-minute drive and necessarily do themselves any good, because all of a sudden you would take that deep into the 4th quarter. Chasing 2 touchdowns. Quickly to Voidick. Good work from the Rockets, and that's going to be an extra 15 yards as Peyton Voidick was hit just as he was going out of bounds.
It's a good throw by Mayberry to hit Voidick on the out route. Spezio.
Personal foul, late hit. Number 85 on the defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
That completion to Voidick was the first pass completion Mayberry has had to somebody other named Tyler Spezio. Spezio caught every ball from Mayberry up until that completion.
And that's a big one for Morris to get closer to Rochester territory.
You know, and I have to believe that carry goes to Tyler Petty. The holes here are not as big as they have been, and I've got to believe it's because Tyler Petty, or Nolan Feeney rather, is not playing at full strength, the center for Morris.
You're right, so we're probably going to see Petty in there quite a bit in every formation, because when you've got a lineman who's playing at half speed or half strength, you're going to need that extra blocker in there. So you see they're back in that pistol formation. Dramsfeld behind Petty.
Mayberry, good patience. He waits and he finds his man to the 35-yard line. Once again, it's Voidick. He's completed a couple of passes to the senior on this drive.
I tell you what, there was a lot of talk about the quarterback in white coming into this ball game, but Mayberry has really played well, stepped up and made huge throws for Morris when he needed it. And Mayberry is matching Nick Baker on the Rochester sideline step for step.
18-yard completion to Voidick on that play. And you really feel like this is a must-score possession here for Morris. There's a hole. There is the strength. 7, 8 yards. Dransfield. Boy, we've seen each of these teams just get into rhythms. I mean, Morris in their first possession of the night, a rhythm to drive it 18 plays down the field. That came and went as this game has gone on. They're in a rhythm now. Rochester, of course, has scored 3 touchdowns. There's another big hole. And there's another first down.
There's no messing around when Dransfield gets the ball. It is straight downhill. Put 2 hands on the football, take good care of it. Look at Tyler Petty kick out Mikey McNicholas, and he follows that lead block up the field for a first down.
Dransfield coming into this game with nearly 1,700 yards rushing. He takes a hit and keeps on going. And again, he has a different level that he's playing at right now. The intensity is picked up. Another first and goal. Morris was down here earlier in this half.
This is where they started to stall. Dransfield wanted his number called a couple of times after first down. They actually didn't get him the ball again. Threw it a couple times and couldn't find the end zone.
26 carries, 137 yards for Dransfield. He'll get about 3 more there. I've got to believe he's going to see that ball again. Remember, he's playing both ways. You're playing both ways and you're chasing Rochester on the defensive side. Petty right in front of him. Dransfield behind Petty. He's in. It didn't take them 9 minutes. Only took a little over 3. But Morris has cut this to a 1-touchdown game after the 3-yard touchdown run from Cameron Dransfield.
That drive breathes a little bit of life into the Morris offense, into the Morris sideline, and into the Morris faithful in the stands as they're back within 1 score of Rochester after a big drive by the offense. Great job by the offensive line, and Dransfield does most of the work for him.
9 plays, 80 yards, 3 minutes and 36 seconds. And Alan Thorson imploring his defense now to step up. But on the offensive side, here's that big offensive line moving it out for Dransfield. Second touchdown run of the night for Dransfield.
And I have to kind of go back to, Dave, as you see the numbers for Dransfield, 28 carries, 144 yards. Let's go back to that onside kick. Morris, that kind of gave them a little bit of a jolt there. You know, they realized, oh man, we've just given Rochester some great field position. We could go down by 3 scores. This game could be over. We need a huge stop. The defense gets it, and then look at what the offense does right away. They answer, and this is a whole new ball game. I mean, this could have gotten away from away from Morris in a hurry, and they stopped it.
They put it in the hands of number 7. The last 5 plays of that drive, all runs from Cameron Dransfield. He'll get a drink of water. He'll go play some defense. Again, Morris fans may be thinking, we need a turnover. We need a turnover. Those are hard to come by when you're playing Rochester this season. In fact, Derek Leonard said it was the greatest regular season he's ever seen as a coach or player to not turn the ball over. And I like his comparison. That lack of turnovers, he compared it to the Golden State Warriors. You know, they move the ball all over the floor, and he likens it to the Warriors not turning the ball over for 10 games. Short kick. And a short return. And a flag is down. Clay Bruno with the return.
This flag was thrown about the 35-yard line, and action was happening on the other side of the field at around the 30.
On the return, receiving team number 2, White, blocked below the waist. 10-yard penalty. First down.
The drama thickens a little bit here. And again, others would argue, what's 10 yards to a Rochester offense, right?
They went, what, 97 or so, 93 on their last scoring drive in about 46 seconds. So let's see what they can do here.
Third penalty flag on the Rockets. Yogers, the carry. We've seen Gleason, Yogers, and Capriati in the backfield for Rochester.
Rochester has actually seen more success than I thought they would against this big front seven of Morris on the ground tonight.
This time it's Baker on the ground. Baker with the quick feet, still on his feet. Baker, the first down run to the 38-yard line. 19 yards on the pickup for Baker.
We've got a late flag that comes out.
And here's the call.
Dead ball foul, unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 47 on the defense. 15-yard penalty, result for the play, first down.
So a 19-yard run followed by a 15-yard penalty. That's a 34-yard play.
Officials have cracked down on this at all levels over the last couple of years. You're going to see Laurie make the play and watch him stand up and talk a little bit of smack over Nick Baker there. He obviously said something the official didn't like, but we've seen those flags come out more often over the last 2 or 3 years as they try and clean the game up a little bit.
Eddington, clear space for himself inside the 40.
Eddington has been really dangerous in space so far tonight. It looks like that was Dransfeld that had a chance at him in the backfield, and he slips that tackle and is able to get a positive play. Second and short.
Now to the left side. This is Lewis. He will have another first down. And that last catch, prior to Lewis's catch, Cade Eddington, his 4th ball of the night for 132 yards. Eddington, 49 of those yards coming on a touchdown reception to give his team the lead late in the first half. Yogers. Great open field tackle right there, head on, Chatton Dreifeld.
Rochester tries to stretch this play out, but Dreifeld keeps him honest and keeps the edge. He's able to make a big play. We've seen Rochester have a lot of success going to the low side of the field here on that screen. They're going to pump that way.
Now to the end zone, and a bit much. And third down and long.
Rochester was set up for that screen play. They had Eddington out there on the numbers with 2 blockers in front of him. He pumps that way and then tries to go deep and catch Morris sleeping. Ball just a bit overthrown, and nice coverage by Morris on the back end.
Nick Baker has completed 5 of his 7 passes in this half. Faced with a third down and 8. They'll stay on the ground. Yogers hit hard initially. Cody Baldridge just shot right in there, the 5'7", 185-pound senior. And that will be our final play of the third quarter. Each team with a touchdown. Derek Leonard's team got it first. He got it from Jaden Reed, then Morris. After the dancing by Reed. They'll come back with Dransville, a 3-yard touchdown run. It's a 1-touchdown difference as we go to the 4th.
coach talked about a lot in his press conference earlier this week, says he's been really impressed with him so far this year.
Capriati picking his holes to the 10, to the 5, touchdown! Nick Capriati, 27-yard touchdown run. Mayberry's first incompletion. He hit on his first 3 passes. He's going to go looking for 6, looking for Spezio, and Spezio will make the catch at the 1-yard line. Grantsville easily into the end zone. Touchdown, Morris. Pace and rhythm belong to Rochester. Wide open, Eddington. He'll go in, and Rochester back on top, and it didn't take them long. Capriati back in, they fake the handoff, into the end zone, touchdown, Jaden Reed. Grantsville behind Petty, he's in. It didn't take them 9 minutes, only took a little longer. And that's how we've gone tonight, each team slugging with their opponent. And now it's Rochester's turn, the Morris defense, trying to protect on a 4th down and 8. Pressure on Baker. And the ball will go to Morris. That third quarter so evenly matched. Each team with a touchdown. Rochester 129 yards to Morris 103. First downs just about even as well.
So we've seen that stable of 3 running backs. That was actually the first time that we've seen Eddington in the backfield there. They tried to run the swing route out of the backfield, get him to the sticks. Baker tries to look him off and then come back to his favorite target tonight, Eddington. But he's not there, and Baker has to be flushed with that pressure. He and Coach Leonard go back to the drawing board. Morris now with a chance to tie it here with a big drive.
Yard for Dransfeld, and that is it. And now another offensive lineman, Dylan Schwartz, holding his shoulder. He had a torn muscle in his shoulder earlier this year, number 66 for Morris. He was holding on to it, 285-pound left guard. There you see Schwartz. He is not comfortable. So you have Feeney in the middle of the line, a man right next to him on his left, Dylan Schwartz, he's hurting. You hear the Pats popping in a 5-yard run for Dransville.
We'll see if Morris becomes one-dimensional in that running game with their center and their left guard hurt. Maybe they run the ball to the right a little bit more. Will Rochester be able to pick up on that and maybe load the right side of the line? As you see, yeah, now he's coming out of the ball game. It's too much for him to handle, and you hate to see that. This Morris team has been bitten by the injury bug all year. They had at 1.5 starters out with injury, and that's how they kind of sputtered at the end of the season.
Redskins 3 of 9 on 3rd down. They need 5 yards here. They'll get it. And who gets it? Tyler Spezio. He has been on the receiving end 6 times today. A couple of times on 4th down. He's had other 3rd down conversions, and the chains will move a minute and a half into this 4th quarter.
I could have given you one guess at who that was going to. You wouldn't have needed 2. It's Tyler Spezio tonight. He's been the favorite target all night, and he comes up with another big catch on 3rd and 5.
Spezio lined up at the bottom of your screen. On the ground to Dransfeld. He's still on his feet. Tyler Spezio, 6'5", 210-pound senior. What a night he has had.
He's been everywhere on the field tonight for Morris. This big catch right here takes him all the way down to the 1-yard line. Look at him undercut the defender there to go get it. You've also seen him pick up a couple of huge 3rd downs. That 4th down right there, that was another 4th down for Morris. He's just been fantastic. You can't say enough about the 6'5" senior and how he has played in this state championship.
Fellow senior Cameron Dransfeld, 31 carries, 154 yards and more. Inside the 45-yard line. Each succeeding snap, this Morris team believes in itself even more.
And you have to wonder what the Rochester side's thinking. They haven't played in a game like this for a while, you know. They've had a lot of blowouts. You got to go all the way back to their game against Springfield Sacred Heart Griffin. It was 35-28 early on in October. That's the last time they really played a close ball game. So is there a little bit of doubt creeping into the Rochester minds now?
Go to the fullback. Petty with the carry. Pretty much just to give Dransfeld a little bit of a breather on one play.
If you're going to give Dransfeld a breather, Tyler Petty's the kind of guy that you want to have the ball then, because he's a bruiser in there at 250 pounds. He's going to make that Rochester front four pay, even if he only gets 2 yards.
You see Dylan Schwartz is back in at left guard. Mayberry on the slant. Spezio. First down near the 25-yard line. Tyler Spezio last year was just trying to figure out the game. Well, it's come to a head here in your 4A title game in 2017.
And we've talked a lot about Spezio, but the man who's been throwing in the ball all night, I've been super impressed with. I mean, Mayberry is playing really well in a game where we talked a lot about Nick Baker coming in.
Under 8 minutes to play. Morris down by 7. Dransfeld able to get to the outside, only got a couple.
Made the best out of a bad situation. It looked like he was bottled up in the backfield and is able to escape, get 1 yard, make it a positive play for Morris. The clock continues to tick on this drive. 8 plays and over 4.5 minutes now.
Second down and long. The 9th play of the drive coming up. On the ground, Dransfeld's able to pick his way through and power his way through close to the 20-yard line. Or close to the 15-yard line, we should say. And very close to a first down.
You see that left guard right there pulls. And then you've also got Petty blocking up front, and it has taken more than one Rochester Rocket to bring Dransfeld down all night. I can't recall a single run where it's been one that has brought him down.
Looking for a yard. Has it, and a bit more, and first and goal.
Dylan Schwartz at left guard pulled on that third down play, and I mean, they have just been crucial to Morris's success on this drive. You're going to see him right here. We got him highlighted. He's blocking with one hand. He's doing his best. You see that arm is just hanging off of his shoulder almost, and he's given that chicken wing to block, going old school, but man, he's giving it all he's got here. With 6 minutes to go in the state championship, you leave nothing in the tank.
Nice tackle, Cade Eddington. He grabbed a hold of Dransfeld and held on. So you have Schwartz at left guard playing with one shoulder. You have Feeney, the center, playing with one leg. They have been warriors here tonight, and everybody gasping for some air right now. Looking for the tying score, the ball at the 6-yard line. There's Feeney.
Extra blocker in there.
Ahead of Dransfeld. Dransfeld, a little bit of help from behind. Alex Baylor with the tackle, kind of pushed Dransfeld inside the 5-yard line. Well, how about this? Third down and goal from the 4. Well, you put it up, toss it up to a 6'5" wide receiver.
You got a lot of options. They brought Laurie in on the last play as an extra blocker. You see Petty come out, and they're going to bring in their second running back, Dryfout. If they're going to go to Spezio, it's going to be a one-man route. You have to think with how wide he's spread out. Look for them to go to him. Nope, they're going to run it.
It will be 4th and goal.
Morris tried to go quickly, almost catch Rochester off guard.
Dransfeldt's 10th carry of the drive has taken it to inside the 4-yard line.
With the way Morris's offense has worked tonight, if you're going to go for it here, I mean, this is going to be almost the game right now. I mean, Morris is not built for big plays, so with over 4 minutes to go here, this could be it.
Well, they have another 4th down conversion left in them. Into the end zone. He got it! Somehow Spezio split Caruso and David Allen. And now Morris, an extra point from tying it up. How about that on 4th down?
Look at how strong Spezio is. I mean, he's got Allen draped all over him. And he comes down with it on a quick slant. I thought that's where they were going on 3rd down. They had Spezio split so wide on 3rd down that I thought they were going to run that quick slant on 3rd down, try and throw it to him in single coverage. Well, they decide to do it on 4th down. It works just the same.
And we are tied. Morris has come from 14 points down to tie this game with 4 minutes left. Are the fans in Morris excited? Indeed. Spezio, the touchdown catch. The fans here, the head coach here, Alan Thorson, he's in it. Good news, bad news. The good news for Morris fans, it's 21-21. The bad news, right there in the middle of your screen, number 6, that's Austin Hastings. He's the kicker. He just got the extra point. And during the celebration, Austin Hastings will come down wrong, and he's on the bench right now.
He's already got a brace on that knee. I can't tell if he's grabbing his knee or if he's grabbing a hamstring, but something happens when he tries to celebrate with his teammate. You can see he's in some serious pain right there. I mean, that's just heartbreaking for him, and that's a huge development in this game as we're tied. I mean, if Morris was looking to get in position for a game-winning field goal at some point, I mean, now you have to rethink that.
Austin Hatcher does the kicking off. So this is nothing unusual right here. Hatcher will kick off in a tie game with 4 minutes to play. And a return possibility. Eddington. He is wrapped up and driven down. Brandon Phelps with the tackle, and now Rochester 70 yards away as Austin Hastings, both mentally and physically devastated.
You just hate to see that for a young man who's worked so hard all year and been a big part of this team, and now has to watch from the sideline. We've got a ball game here, tied up at 21 with under 4 to go.
Baker to keep. Not much room. Cody Baldridge grabbed a hold and hung on, waited for help.
You can feel the energy in this stadium. You can feel the energy on the Morris sideline and in their stands, and it all kind of shifted after that onside kick by Rochester. They recovered, but then Morris came up with a big stop, and now look at where we are. 14 unanswered points by Morris, and now a flag before they can snap the ball.
You know, when you take a look at the Morris crowd, they're up. The Rochester fans are sitting quietly on the far side.
Dead ball foul, false start, number 17 on the offense. 5-yard penalty, replay, second down.
This is adversity that this Rochester team just hasn't seen enough of this year, I don't think. And Alan Thorson's crew on the Morris sideline has. They've gone through losses, they've gone through tough times, and they've had to battle every single game.
Baker, individual conversations with his receivers and running back, but he will keep it himself.
He is ridden down by Avery Hoffman. And now we're at 3rd down and 7.
Some good moves by the quarterback here. It's a designed quarterback keep. He jumps out of the way of Laurie and then is wrestled down by a couple of Morris defenders.
Rochester just 2 of 7 on 3rd downs tonight. They have to get across the 40-yard line.
Baker will have plenty of options as he's got 5 wide.
Coming to the left side, Eddington, fingertips. I don't know if he got there. He did not.
He makes a heck of a catch, but he had to get all the way to the 40, and he's going to be just shy. That's the 3 wide receiver side that Baker was looking at, and Eddington was the middle receiver. He just sits down at what he thought was the sticks, but he was 1 yard shy. It's 4th and 1.
Baker to keep it. He'll have it. First down, clock stops, minute 47 left.
So anybody who hasn't seen Rochester play this season will think, oh man, they're going fast because it's a 2-minute drill. There's under 2 minutes to go. No, this is how Rochester operates all the time. So that's a benefit to this Rockets offense. They're not under pressure right now. This is how they go every single game.
Quick pass right side. Gleason slips a couple tackles. He's inside the 40-yard line.
And now if you're Rochester, you can really take your time. A minute and a half to go inside the 40.
Pass to Gleason goes for 18 yards. Good block, Riley Lewis.
Nice spin move to get past the sticks. And there's a timeout on the field because I think the chains were tangled up. We're going to get some new chains. Chain gang moving a little bit too fast and got everything tangled up. You can see they put some new ones in play and away we go. But Rochester is in business with a minute and a half to go.
So Gleason head to the trainer's table as well.
And we've talked a lot about the win today, and it was actually in Rochester's favor early in the game, but the flags on the north end of Husky Stadium have shifted a little bit. It might be a little bit of a crosswind or maybe even in the face of the Rockets now. That comes into play if you try and kick a field goal.
It's first down. Baker, quick release. Reed. They get out of bounds. Boy, and how quickly Rochester moves down the field. 67 seconds left in the 4A title game.
Those rotating running backs have now settled on Nick Capriati, the senior, in there for the final drive.
Baker, though, to keep it. Nick Baker dances through inside the 20. Baker doing it with his feet, this time for 12 yards.
It's a fake to Capriati, and then he's a lead blocker for Baker. He takes it up the right side.
Morris will take the timeout. Once again, maybe just to catch their breath. 54 seconds to a state title. If Rochester can get it in, 54 seconds to overtime, possibly, if Morris denies them.
Maybe for Morris to catch their breath, but also Coach Thorson might be thinking, this is a quick strike Rochester offense. If they try and throw a ball to the end zone here, even if they do score, I'm going to give myself a little bit of time left on the clock. Now the only problem is that Morris offense equipped to march down the field like a Rochester offense can. when Morris has had success tonight, it has been on long drives. So if this ball gets in the hands of Morris, can they make a play with just a few seconds left on the clock? We'll have to see, but Rochester right now knocking on the door of what could be a 7th state title.
Nick Baker on this drive for Rochester has rushed for 25 yards. He has completed all 3 of his pass attempts, 37 yards, and the ball now at the 18-yard line. Morris, 1 timeout remaining. Rochester has 3. Baker again. He's inside the 10. They put the ball in the hands of Nick Baker. We thought it might be in the air through his hands. But now it's Baker's hands to his feet.
The play calling has been very conservative on this drive, especially as they've gotten more and more into field goal range.
Same play, the fake handoff to Capriati. See the clock ticking down. It finally stopped with 20 seconds left at the 9-yard line in your 4A championship ball game. Way back in the first half, it was the Nick Capriati show, the opening drive of this ball game. Capriati a 27-yard touchdown run. But then Morris came right back. Cam Dransfield, a 9-minute drive, tied it at 7. We had to wait till the final 3 minutes of the first half. That's when Baker found a wide open Kate Ennington for 49 yards, then a 14-7 halftime lead. That lead would be expanded in the 3rd quarter. Jaden Reed on the end of this one. It was 21-7 Rochester with 7 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. But here come the Redskins. Dransfield 3 yards out. 21-14. Into the 4th quarter we go. 4 minutes to play in this ball game. It's Tyler Spezio tied at 21. And now we are on the 9-yard line. Rochester fans looking for their 7th state title in 8 years, their 2nd in succession. 20 seconds left on the clock. A straight run, Baker. He's still on his feet. He's at the 3-yard line. And it will be a 1st and goal from there. 15 seconds left.
I'm shocked that they're even going to run another play. It looks like with 15 seconds left, they're going to try and punch this one in quickly.
This time the handoff and a loss of yardage. The clock ticking to 4 seconds.
Try and pound it in with the senior Nick Capriati and really put this one away. But Morris answers the bell one last time, and it comes down to this.
The field goal kicker for Rochester is sophomore Clay Allawelt. He is 1 for 2 in field goals this year. His long has been at 26. 71 of 78 extra points. We're just a little bit outside of that range. The decision has been made. Eric Leonard about as calm as one could appear. Does Morris pick up their 4th state title? At least an opportunity to at least get to overtime? Or do the Rockets go back-to-back here in 4A?
What a game we have had. This has been an unbelievable day of football, capped off by a fantastic game for both of these teams. Derek Leonard with a few words for his kicker before he heads out there. This is the kind of moment that you live for.
23-yard attempt, straight on. Clay Bruno on the hold. And Alan Thorson says, oh yeah, I'm going to make him wait just a bit.
Final timeout for Morris. There's only 4 seconds left. Allwell, 26-yarder, his only field goal of the season, only 2 attempts. He hasn't had to attempt many. Rochester scoring so many touchdowns. The extra points, of course, big numbers. The snap, the hold, the kick to a state title, possibly.
He doesn't look nervous at all. I think he's thinking about one thing, and he's thinking about putting it through the uprights. Looks like he's got a great mindset going out there. You got to stay calm in these kinds of situations. Snap, hold, kick. Everybody's got to stay loose. If you're Morris, you got to think one thing: low pad level, big push. Try and get as much push as you can. I see 6'5" Spezio's in the game. He's probably going to try and jump and block this thing if it's low. He's right in the middle. And it looks like they're going to try and bring most of their pressure from the edge. But you see 17, Spezio, he's standing right there. He's going to try and jump and block this.
Here it is. You'll get the best look in the house. High snap, pulled down, kick through. A penalty flag is down. There's a flag down near the 15-yard line. But how about the hold by Clay Bruno? The clock shows 0, and the field goal is good. And Rochester has gone back-to-back. The game-winning drive. And Clay Allwell, the sophomore, with the winner.
What a kick, what a hold, a great effort by Morris. Comes up just short, and Rochester is going to hoist another state trophy in what has been probably their most exciting state championship game. Look at him go out and get that snap and bring it down. The penalty flag was thrown for that right there, running into the kicker. And you see Nick Baker right next to his head coach celebrating this state championship win.
And that's the story on the other side.
But you know what? Morris has nothing to hang their head about. That was a heck of a ball game to score 14 unanswered points in the second half, to come back and make this a game. And look at the joy for Derek Leonard and his Rochester Rockets as they go home with another title.
Teams win championships, but programs do as well. This last drive was a program drive. 12 plays, 65 yards, 3 minutes and 55 seconds, capped off by the 23-yard game-winning field goal by Clay Allwell. So Rochester, their 7th championship in the last 8 years. And indeed, their toughest of all time. Let's go to Cameron Smith.
Well, guys, I'm standing here with the sophomore kicker that won this thing for the Rochester Rockets. That is Clay Allwell. Clay, this game back and forth was outstanding in so many ways, but for you to step up and clinch this back-to-back state championship game for your team, what does that mean for you? And obviously, I'm sure a lot of emotions running through you.
It means a lot, but I'm just happy I didn't mess it up for the seniors. That's what I was just thinking about.
Now, what was going through your mind as, you know, Morris tried to show a little gamesmanship, tried to ice you, call him with the timeout? Did Coach Leonard talk to you and tell you anything to kind of keep your nerves calm, to go back out there and kick this game-winning field goal?
They just said, go out and kick it. You kicked a ton of them. I was practicing today, and I had no problems. I had confidence.
You say you didn't want to mess up for the seniors. Now, what have they meant to this program and also your development within this football program at Rochester?
Well, they're pretty much the whole program. I mean, they grow up as freshmen, and then it just means a lot to win as a senior, because you see other people doing it, and then you want to be that kind of guy. So.
And you are that kind of guy. You were that kind of guy tonight, cementing yourself in the history of Rochester football. Has to feel great, right?
Yeah, it feels pretty good.
All right, Clay Allwell kicking the game-winning field goal for the Rochester Rockets. We will be back with more from Husky Stadium on the campus of Northern Illinois University. All right, welcome back to Northern Illinois University, where the Rockets of Rochester just pulled off their second consecutive state championship win. I'm standing here with head coach Derek Leonard. 7 state championships in the past 8 years. When you hear that type of accomplishment, what goes through your head?
Yeah, man, just great kids, great community, good coaches, you name it. Everything has to go right for a team to do that. And like tonight, we didn't play our best game. Morris played their butts off, but my kids fought through it, you know, and what can I say? That's how you win 7. You know, a lot of heart, great town and community, and great coaches.
And you couldn't envision this 7th state championship coming down to an end like this. I mean, obviously, Morris put out their best effort against you guys, but you said from day one that this team isn't like last year's team, that they had to make sure that they reached their potential, and it seems like they did that all season, especially tonight.
Yeah, they did, and especially when we, like I said, when we needed to pull it out, when they were keeping the ball from us. That's not the kind of game we want to play. They kept it from us, but, man, our kids kept fighting, never felt too uncomfortable, and, man, what can you say? Just a great win, man, against a great team, and we deserve it.
All right, Coach, we appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Can I say hi to my mom at home? I love you, Mom, so much. I got the best mom in the world, and I love you, Mom. And everyone, everyone watching in Springfield, love you guys.
All right, Derek Leonard for the Rochester Rockets. Let's send it back upstairs to Dave Bernhardt and Chris Highland.
An emotional Derek Leonard here as his team wins another state title, and that takes us to our Wintrust play of the game. You may have had to wait for it for a while to get here, but it came in the very final snap of this 4A title game. Clay Allowell, the 23-yard field goal, and Rochester gets that state championship number 7.
What a game. This is one for the record books. I mean, this has been such an exciting day of football here. 1A through 4A, some great games capped off by a game winner for Rochester. And you see there, Coach talking to some of his seniors that have laid the foundation for an unbelievable program down at Rochester. They've been a part of 3 of these 7 state titles. They missed out as sophomores, and back-to-back wins now as juniors and seniors.
Let's take a look at our Country Financial Player of the Game. Number 8, no surprise, that's Nick Baker. There are your numbers, 223 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, but how about Baker on that last game-winning drive? 3 of 3 passing. He also rushed for 39 yards to set up that game-winning field goal. And now it's time for our Menards Trophy presentation. The Morris Redskins, the 8th time they have finished 2nd in the state to go along with 3 state championships. We had talked, and people all across the state had talked, you better not fall behind by 2 touchdowns to Rochester. Well, guess what? Morris did. They came back.
They proved us wrong. This team has a lot of fight and a lot to be proud of as they hoist that 2nd place trophy. I mean, you can't say enough about those guys right there. 3 of the offensive linemen that man number 7 ran behind all night. Dransfeld had a great game, but it had a lot to do with the men in front of him.
And how about the resilience, the tenacity, and the just flat-out gut effort that offensive line, a couple of them, Feeney and along with Schwartz, you see Feeney being helped off the stand right now, that they just persevered in the toughest of situations, and they will be very, very proud and are proud of that 2nd place trophy. But for Rochester, once again, it is their year, just like it was in 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, and 2016. That's right, that's the run the Rockets have had in Class 4A, and Nick Baker will lead his team onto the trophy stand.
What a career he has had. 54 touchdowns this year to just 2 interceptions. I mean, you can't ask for better numbers from a senior leader like Nick Baker. And you see some of those other seniors up there taking part in this trophy ceremony.
These seniors, when they were in 4th grade, that was in 2009. Okay, the state championships hadn't started yet. But since then, since those seniors were in 4th grade, Rochester has won 113 games and has only lost 10. They have never lost in their 7 appearances in a state championship game.
Hugs all around as you see Senior Nick Capriati, who started off the scoring for Rochester, embraces head coach Derek Leonard. Tears of joy for those Rockets. Good for these guys. And what a program they have built down there in Rochester. Just an absolute powerhouse in 4A.
You know, and that little vision right there of Derek Leonard said it all, right? I mean, you can talk about all the great state championships, the pressure to do it again and again and again.
There's so much emotion that goes into every single one of these games. These coaches, these players, they pour their hearts into every single snap on the field. Whether you're 13-0 or you go 0-9, every single one of these teams in this state plays hard every single snap, and you can see the emotion and kind of the relief in Derek Leonard's face as he takes home his 7th state title.
That trophy looks a little bit different than other years, but guess what? It still says #1 down there in the bottom in 2017. Well, what a way to end up our first game of coverage here of the IHSA State Football Championships. The Rochester Rockets, the Morris Redskins went at it back and forth to the very last play of this ball game. And that just sets us all up for tomorrow. 4 more games. 5A beginning at 10 a.m. on NBC Sports Chicago. Glad to have you with us. My partner Chris Highland. I'm Dave Bernhard. Back with you tomorrow from Husky Stadium. The Rockets win their 7th title in 8 years.